Imagine spending 40 years of your life working, paying taxes, contributing to Social Security, believing that when you finally stop, the system will take care of you. You picture comfort, freedom, dignity. Then one day you open the letter or log into the SSA website and the number staring back at you is so small, you feel sick. You refresh the page, you think there must be a mistake. $1-800, maybe $2,200. And if you were lucky, $12,500. That's it. That's the value of your entire lifetime of effort. In that moment, millions of Americans discover the truth. Social Security is not a retirement plan. It never has been. Before we go deeper into the numbers that expose this trap, do one thing. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment, "I choose my future." This helps the algorithm show this information to other retirees who desperately need it. The greatest mistake of retirement is not investing late, not saving too little, not buying the wrong house. It's believing Social Security is the solution. People treat it like a reward. They think, I worked hard, I paid in, I earned this. But Social Security was never designed to replace 100% of your income, not even 70% or 60%. The system was built in the 1930s to replace only 35-40% of your pre-retirement earnings. That number alone is why millions fall into poverty after 65. If you earned $70,000 before retiring, Social Security was meant to give you around $25,000, $28,000 per year. That's $2,000, $2,300 a month. And that's before health insurance, medication, taxes, and inflation. You can already see the disaster. When the cost of living for one person is $12,500 to $500 per month, Social Security doesn't cover survival, let alone comfort. And yet, retirees behave as if the check is a lifeboat. They retire early, usually at 62, because life is short, and in doing so, they permanently lose 25-30% of their benefit. They lock in weakness for the rest of their lives. They don't understand the math. They don't understand the timeline. They only understand the moment. I'm tired. I want to stop. But retirement is not a moment. Retirement is a long economic war. You're not 62 for 1 year. You're 62, then 63, then 71, then 78, then 85. Your Social Security doesn't grow with your needs. Your health doesn't improve. Your expenses don't shrink. The system rewards survival, not productivity. And the older you get, the more expensive everything becomes. The danger is not the first year of retirement. The danger is year 12, year 50, year 21. When your body is weaker, your medications cost more, your mobility reduces, and you have fewer options to create new income. When you're young, you can recover from a financial mistake by working harder. At 68, 72, or 79, there is no recovery mechanism. There is only depletion. This is the Social Security illusion. People believe the check is a promise. But the system doesn't promise comfort. It promises minimum survivability. And that's only if you stay healthy, housed, and lucky. If you don't understand that, the rest of retirement becomes a series of painful surprises. And that's why we start here. Because until you accept that Social Security is not enough, you'll never plan for the life you actually deserve. When we talk about real retirement planning, everything begins with recognizing the gap between what you receive and what you truly need. The day you retire, you don't suddenly spend less. You don't magically become a cheaper human being. Your needs don't shrink, and your body doesn't stop aging. Retirement isn't a discount on life. In many cases, it's an upgrade to a more expensive version of it. People think the cost of living after 65 is similar to the cost of living at 45, just without work. That's the lie. At 45, you have options. At 65, you have obligations. Let's break the real numbers down. Not fantasy numbers, not YouTube guru numbers, real American household numbers. Rent or HOA alone can swallow $100, $2,500 per month. Even if you own a home, property taxes and insurance don't care that you're retired. Groceries, the most basic survival expense, easily reach $300, $600 per month per person. Utilities, especially in states with extreme weather, add another $150 to $300. Transportation. Even if you no longer commute, car insurance skyrockets for seniors, and maintenance doesn't take age into account. $150, $350 disappears before you realize it. These are not luxury items. These are the bare bones of existence: housing, food, energy, mobility, and before you factor in healthcare, your minimal monthly cost of living is already between $20,300 and $30,200. Some states push that number to $4,000, even if you live a quiet, modest life. Yet, the average Social Security check floats around $100. In other words, the system expects you to retire comfortably while living at a permanent deficit. The math is brutally simple. If your monthly cost is $3,000 and your Social Security is $1,900, that is a $100 hole every single month. People look at that number and think, I'll just use savings. That mindset is the gasoline that burns entire retirements. $100 per month becomes $13,200 per year. That becomes $132,000 over a decade, without considering inflation, without considering an emergency, without considering health. And here is the real twist. In retirement, expenses don't just stay flat, they change shape. At 30, 40, or 50, you spend money to live life. Travel, restaurants, kids, projects, hobbies. At 70, you spend money to maintain life. Medications, equipment, transportation, assistance, insurance. You're not trying to grow, you're trying not to decline. That psychological shift is invisible until it hits you. And by then, most retirees are already reacting instead of planning. Cost is not just about dollars. It's about vulnerability. At 35, you can decide to pick up a second job. At 67, you can't simply work harder if something goes wrong. You don't negotiate with your body the way you negotiate with a boss. Work used to be your safety net. Lose money, make it back. In retirement, you don't make money back. Every bad decision is permanent. Every month of deficit is irreversible. This is why retirement planning isn't about how much I saved. It's about how much it costs to stay alive consistently. Your Social Security check is not the measurement. Your monthly survival number is, and once you know it, everything about retirement becomes clearer. The gap between income and cost isn't a surprise. It is a mathematical guarantee. And the longer you ignore that gap, the harder the next part becomes: healthcare, where every bill is larger than the one before. You think you understand cost until your body starts to age. Rent is predictable. Groceries are predictable. Utilities are predictable. Healthcare is a storm with no forecast. When you first enroll in Medicare, you feel protected. You hear words like coverage, benefit, eligibility, and you breathe a little easier. But Medicare is not a shield, it's a filter. It pays for some things, ignores others, and punishes you for everything you assumed would be included. Here's the first shock every retiree faces. Medicare is not free. You pay premiums, you pay deductibles, you pay co-pays, you pay again when a service is out of network. And the money comes directly from your Social Security check before it even reaches your hands. Part B alone can take $174 to $300 per month depending on your income bracket. That is 10 to 15% of your benefit gone before you even step foot in a waiting room. Then comes the reality no one wants to talk about. Medicare covers catastrophic medical needs, but not the everyday consequences of aging. Dental, not covered. Implants that allow you to chew without pain, $3,000, $5,000 each. Hearing, not covered. Aids that allow you to understand your grandchildren, $4,000, $7,000 a pair. Vision, not covered. Prescription lenses that prevent you from falling, $300 to $2,500. Long-term care, not covered at all. Assisted living, $3,500, $9,000 per month. Home care, $22, $30 per hour. Multiply that by weeks, then by months, then by years. And suddenly, the worst-case scenario becomes the only scenario that matters. This is where retirees begin to crumble. Not because they overspend on luxuries, but because healthcare slowly transforms into a subscription to survival. One medication becomes 3. One appointment becomes 5. A test leads to a scan, which leads to a specialist, which leads to a treatment plan. Retirement isn't a vacation. It's a rhythm of medical invoices, each one more urgent than the last. And here is the most devastating part. Retirees respond to this pressure the wrong way. They delay care. They tell themselves, "I'll fix my teeth next year." They postpone a hearing evaluation because it's not urgent. They stretch their medication because it's too expensive this month. They stop preventative care and pay the price in emergencies. A $300 cleaning becomes a $4,000 extraction. A $1,200 MRI becomes a $14,000 surgery. A skipped medication becomes a heart incident that destroys the next 10 years of your financial life. Healthcare is not a surprise in retirement. It is a guarantee. The only question is whether you will prepare for it or pretend it won't happen to you. Real retirement planning requires a separate budget for healthcare, just like you would for rent or food. $300, $600 per month set aside, minimum, not for comfort, not for treatment, for inevitability. Because when health collapses, every other financial strategy collapses with it. Investments become irrelevant. Withdrawals accelerate. Savings vanish. You do not choose when you get sick. You only choose whether you planned for it. And once you understand that, you begin to see retirement differently. Not as a single check from the government, not as a pile of savings you dip into, but as a system of income streams designed to survive volatility. That is where real planning begins, not with fear, but with structure. And the retirees who survive the next stage are the ones who understand that retirement is not funded by miracles. It is funded by predictable money. This is the point where most retirees break emotionally. They look at what they receive from Social Security. They look at their savings, and they think the solution is just take more. They treat retirement like a dam holding water. When pressure increases, they open the gate. It feels natural, logical, even responsible. But retirement does not reward instinct. It rewards structure. You don't survive because you have money. You survive because your money is predictable. The retirees who last, who sleep at night, who don't panic every time a bill arrives, share one characteristic. They created multiple streams of reliable income before leaving the workforce. When rent goes up, when inflation hits, when medication doubles, they suffocate. They don't have a financial strategy, they have hope. And hope is not a retirement plan. The retirees who collapse financially are not always the ones with the lowest income. They are the ones who depend on a single income source. Social Security becomes their only oxygen tank, not risky ventures, not lottery investments, consistent cash flow. The goal is simple. Reduce the pressure on your Social Security check so you don't tear apart your savings like a hungry animal devouring its own tail. A proper retirement structure looks like a staircase. Each step supports you. Step 1. Social Security. The base, not the roof, not the entire building, just the foundation. Step 2. Stable yield assets. Not to get rich, but to produce monthly or quarterly distribution. Dividend ETFs, bond ladders, municipal bonds, treasury yields. These assets don't ask you to gamble. They ask you to wait. Step 3. Rental income or lightweight services. Nothing exhausting, nothing physical, nothing that traps you in labor. A room you rent, a parking spot, consulting from a skill you spent decades mastering. Step 4. Cash reserves. Not for extra spending, but for the moments when life punches you in the throat. The mistake most retirees make is chasing growth when they should be chasing predictability. Retirement is not the age of doubling your portfolio. It's the age of preserving it for as long as your body lasts. At 35, investing aggressively is survival. At 70, investing aggressively is suicide. Risk is not your friend. Time is not on your side. Your greatest enemy is the market cycle you never expected. And this is where another silent trap shows itself. Emotional money. The money you keep just in case, but spend when your children ask for help. The inheritance you promise yourself to pass down, but end up draining to keep someone else afloat. The savings you believe you'll rebuild later, but later never arrives. In retirement, you don't rebuild. You only reduce. Retirement income must be treated like infrastructure. You don't look at a bridge and say, "Let me remove a few beams because today I feel fine." The bridge stays intact so it doesn't collapse when a storm hits. Your retirement works the same way. If your monthly survival number is $3,500 and Social Security gives you $1,100, you don't fill the gap from savings. You must engineer a gapless system, one that makes $1,600 to $2,400 every month without forcing you to cannibalize your future. Structural thinking changes everything. Instead of waking up every month afraid of bills, you wake up knowing the money is coming. Not because you're lucky, not because the government saved you, but because you built a financial machine that continues to operate even when you no longer can. That is the difference between retiring and simply stopping work. One is freedom. The other is waiting for a disaster. When retirees understand this, the question shifts from how much do I have to how long will my money produce income? And once you start thinking in duration instead of balance, every decision you make becomes smarter, calmer, and far more sustainable. This is where retirees finally stop reacting to life and start controlling it. Retirement disasters never begin with $0. They begin with people who have money and assume they can spend it the same way they did during their working years. Savings become a safety net, then a cushion, then a wallet, then a habit. And one day, without warning, it becomes a countdown clock. The smartest retirees aren't the ones with the biggest balances. They are the ones who understand one principle. You don't spend retirement money. You convert it into sustainable time. This is where the strategy matters more than the balance. You don't withdraw when you feel like it. You don't withdraw because a month was expensive or because your son needs help or because you want to enjoy life. Retirement withdrawals must be structured like oxygen flow, controlled, measured, predictable. The simplest method, and the most widely studied in the United States, is the 4% rule. It states that in your first year of retirement, you withdraw 4% of the total portfolio, and every year afterward, you adjust only for inflation. Not performance, not fear, not mood, inflation. This method isn't magic. It's math backed by decades of market history. Look at a real example. If you have $500,000 saved, your first year withdrawal is $20,000. That's roughly $1,167 per month. Combine that with a $1,900 Social Security check, and suddenly you're not drowning. You're breathing. You're above the minimum survival threshold without cannibalizing your principal. And that's the real game. Longevity of the portfolio, not short-term comfort. The retirees who destroy themselves aren't the ones who spend too much. They're the ones who spend without a plan. For people who want extra protection, there are models built specifically to handle volatility. The bucket strategy divides your retirement money into 3 levels. Cash bucket, 1 to 3 years, your emergency and stability money, the funds you use during market downturns. Bond bucket, 3 to 7 years. Predictable yield, low volatility, income that continues when stocks slow down. Growth bucket, 7+ years. Equities or dividend ETFs that replenish the other buckets over time. This structure prevents you from selling growth assets during bad market cycles, which is where most retirees destroy decades of patience in a single panic. Instead of liquidating investments at a discount, you pull from safer buckets until markets recover. There are also tools specifically engineered for older adults. Bond ladders, which create scheduled payouts every 6 or 12 months. TIPS, which protect against inflation. Dividend ETFs, which pay 3 to 6% annually without forcing you to sell your holdings. And annuities, which convert a lump sum into a guaranteed lifetime income stream. None of these are glamorous. None of them will make you rich. But retirement isn't a decade of gambling. It's a marathon of staying alive without draining your dignity. The final shift you must make is psychological. Retirement is not the end of your financial life. It's the beginning of a new economic role. When you were young, you earned money through labor. In retirement, you must earn money through allocation. You're no longer a worker. You're a manager. Your portfolio is your employee. If you treat it with fear or impulse, it will betray you. If you treat it with discipline, it will protect you longer than your body can. If this message brought clarity to you, or if it opened your eyes to strategies you never considered, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment, "I choose my future." Your engagement helps this knowledge reach others who are retiring unprepared, and it may save them from a mistake they can never undo.